for a second there.
Yeah.
Now it's yellow, now it's green. Reconnection
So
successful.
Maybe it's the Wi-Fi or the Ethernet cable itself that's a problem?
It could be. Do you think you might have like crushed it or something? It's like a hose and you put a little kink in it. We're streaming again, by the way. Hey, let us know. Can you hear and see us? It looks good. Fatality. Hello. We're kind of going in and out. We're not really sure why. Okay, Levi, they're good. We got a green box. We're good to go.
Yeah. We'll see if this works.
Sorry it's not working. If anyone is to blame, it's Levi.
Yeah. We might have a bad Ethernet cord and we have to replace it.
It's definitely not Brendan's fault.
Definitely not Brendan's fault.
Not Brendan's
no.
fault.
Although it could be, you could make the case that it's actually Levi's parents' fault.
Yeah.
Because of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it stops there.
The child services people made it the case that it's their fault.
Ooh, that's on the nose. Yeah. Fatality. Those are some sweet lyrics there. That song is going to be a hit if you end up putting it out there in the world. Yeah. You know, when you read it, you realize how nonsensical.
Yeah, because when you watch it, you think, oh, this makes sense.
This makes a lot of sense. Like, it couldn't make more sense than it does. Oh, man.
All right, we're gonna do this question.
Oh, man. Okay.
Wait, that's not really a question.
It's not really a question. Yeah, Kuz, if you're watching, one of your questions isn't exactly a question. The first thing you posted is just an explanation. So we're not sure what you want us to do with that.
All right, do you want to send Kuz a message that we're now able to stream?
Yeah.
Because we're doing Kuz questions?
Is it not Kuzi? Is that who it is?
Yeah, I assume so.
Not Kuzi.
I think Kuz just posted in the general chat of our Discord. You can use my computer too if you're into that type of thing. How many distinct real solutions does the equation above have? Ah ha 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 ha! Kuz, and everybody else. These are very fun questions because they're always kind of the same. Nerdish is now live. Great. We'll see how long that lasts. Only a bit. Why a bit? What? Do you have any questions? Do you want us to talk to you about stuff while you're here? Also, are you going to be a senior? Oh, Kuz is going to be back in 15 minutes. They just posted, so you don't have to comment.
Okay.
So Kuz, we'll save your questions. Slayer Darth, hi Levi. Hello. Yes, we'll hold off. Yep. Okay, let's find something else that's fun to do. I think we got some questions in the math section or something. Perhaps. No, not there. Oh yeah, this one. Mello. Who's Mello again in chat?
That's a human.
Got it. That's stupid.
Nice.
Okay, we're doing this circle one. This was put in the math section. I don't know. Okay, I think... Wait, is this good enough, or do I need the answer choices? The xy plane above, the circle has a center hk. What is the value of k? Yeah, we can do this. This is awesome. I like this question. And so should you. You forgot the Oxford comma. That's okay, because not that you're taking it, I don't think, but SAT and ACT do not test on the Oxford comma. BRB, very good. You be right back. Senor, okay, good. So, Fatality, have you begun your college application? Common App most likely, or other apps, the Coalition app, the, what other apps are there? We need to get some more LEDs, Bird.
Appetizers?
Yeah, that's dumb. Not yet until September. Okay, yeah. I mean, if you're doing the SAT or ACT, do that, finish it, focus on that, and then move on. If you're going to be able to finish by August or September, maybe October, maybe. But then get started. But we're going to do some streams on the college application essay, and we'll be raffling off some free... Oh, crumbs, you got a 36? Nice. Okay, so Fatality, yeah, I would say that you should probably pick up on... Crumbs, have you watched us before, or is this your first time? You're just letting us know? You're cut off.
Crumbs, you got a 36? That's sick. That's a sick 36. Of course,
So-
it's not a 37.
It's not a 37.
Not a 37.
Yeah, we haven't seen a 37 in a while. How come? Just curious. Also, so fatality, for all of you that are going to be seniors in end of August, September, you have watched a few times. Well, we definitely got you that 36. Otherwise, you've gotten probably a 63.
Yeah.
But good. Oh, that's awesome. So are you going to take it again or no?
That's what they probably would have gotten if they hadn't watched this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how you read that?
36.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you walk backwards and you inhale it and you say it
Okay,
backwards.
but for those of you who are doing college application stuff, we're gonna be auctioning, having like a little raffle for free essay revision stuff with me. So
Not
I will.
me.
Yeah, I can talk to you about any level of the essay that you're at. So if you've already written an essay, you want it revised or edited or talk about it. No, I'm not giving you an essay. You have to write it your damn self. So, and not just one. Like I'll do the number of hours that I think I can, which is not going to be a lot.
It's enough.
But yeah, we're still fine, right?
It wants us to free up storage space.
Storage on the computer.
Apparently we have low disk space. Whatever that means. Is it too late? If I'm a senior and I take it this October, is what too late? Getting the essay revisions?
No, just getting the test scores.
Internet shortcut, he's doing the whole thing. Helping you figure out what to write about, helping you revise what you have, all of it. No,
Yeah.
it's not too late.
I'm not going through the whole process with any individual person. It would be, one 45-minute session is what I normally do. And so if you haven't written anything, that we can brainstorm and then, maybe outline some things and, I can give you some things to, some prompts to do some free writes and stuff. Or if you've written something that we can do, we can work at that point. Or, at the end is just editing. Although I would not recommend using a free session for editing because you can get anybody to do that.
Fatality, as a senior, the last time you can take the ACT or SAT is December because college apps require this stuff sent in by, I believe, January 1st. So you could take it after, but it's not going to get to these colleges in time for them to use that to review your application. December is your cutoff. That's the last time you could do it. December is the last chance. Yes, December is your last chance. Last chance.
Is it 04 and then
4020.
4020?
4020. 4020.
I gotta stop doing that.
Yeah.
I had a long period of my life where I didn't do that,
Yeah.
and then it's like really come back, like big time. Like I would say, there's a graph of like inhaling, speaking, inhale, talk on the Y.
College book. That's great.
Probably would be like this. So like for like most of my life, where I'm gonna put it right here. Most of my life before I even learned I could do that, just right at 0, and then suddenly I learned I could do that. And I kind of just chilled at like maybe age 10 through 13 or so, and then I stopped doing that. And then recently, it's exponential.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
exponential.
Uh,
Okay. You need to get a perfect on math. That's awesome. Do you have questions for us? If you do, put them in the Discord. If you don't, put them in the Discord. This question. Okay, so we have to find a circle with center HK. We need to find the value of K. So basically how high up that point is, right? That's what we want because this is K. So how high up is that point? When you get circle questions, first of all, you're throwing circle-related things at it. Radius is 10, base is 8, then Pythag. Yes, exactly. You always are going to, my first step is always draw a radius, maybe multiple, from the center, obviously, to a point on the circle that seems to make sense. There's no point in drawing a radius up to the top because nothing's going on up here.
There's nothing going on up there.
There's nothing going on
There's
up there.
literally nothing going on up there.
Yeah, so I'm going to draw a radius to that point. And then we need to find K, which is basically the distance from this point to the x-axis here. So if I draw that line, that's not a radius, but just as Fatality said, we've now created a right angle. We know this is 10. we know that because this is a perpendicular bisector of this line, there's a circle, so the center of the circle has to be equidistant from those 2 points. It has to be cutting this in half, so this will be 8. Let me know if you don't understand why that's 8. This is 16, so this will be 8. Then this is actually a sized up Pythagorean triple, so this will be 6 right here. So k equals 6.
Internet shortcut. It's not a special right triangle because that has to do with the angles. Those are 45, 45, 90, 30, 60, 90 triangles. These are nice Pythagorean triplets is what we call them. Hey, way to go. That was pretty fast. No, don't worry about it. You're supposed to make mistakes. We're just here to, you just got to trust us because we're tutors.
Yep. Always trust your tutors.
Always.
More so than your government officials.
ATYT. Always trust your tutors.
A tutor is an elected position by the masses.
Yep. We were elected to be here.
English kinds. Kings.
Kings.
Yes. Blackout 3000. We will help you with English. We will make you into an English king. But not one of the ones that was dethroned because they made some mistake. They weren't prepared for the SAT or ACT, depending on what you're into. And we will prep you for that because that's what happened for them. That's why they're no longer kings.
Yeah, okay, so wait. The tutors, I get that. He said two doors.
Oh, that's really funny.
Fatality, 4 times 2. It is in the middle. So 4 times 2, what do you mean by that? 4 times 2 gives you 8, but where does the 4 and the 2 come from here? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so basically you have 2... I think you divided by 2 twice if you're talking about this thing. The distance of that line is 16, so halfway would be 8.
Yeah.
Maybe you just did it twice.
Maybe.
But perhaps not.
Very good. We're off on a roll.
I like that, Blackout. I like that very much.
Very good. All right, so we're done with general. We're going to go to questions for stream.
I think...
Coos.
Well, that's Coos stuff. Hey, you people have questions?
You people have
You
questions?
all should probably have questions. You all know how to do all the punctuation on the test because that's pretty straightforward stuff, but if you don't know the rules, then you're out of luck.
Yeah, don't lie.
Just like the tutors.
6 divided by 2 times 1 plus 2. Blackout, 3, 2, 1 plus 2, 3. 6 divided by... What? Blackout,
What are you doing?
does that apply to what we just did, or is that a new question, or, what's going on there?
The answer seems to be 1.
I would assume. We see us sometimes in the corner just doing little math expressions. We're just not really sure what's going on there. 6 divided by 3. So actually, okay, you would do your parentheses first. This is a good question. This is order of operations. So we have 6 divided by 2, 1 plus 2. Not Koozies back. So
Nice.
we would do what's in parentheses first. And so that's going to turn this into 6 divided by 2. And then this is going to be 3. Okay? Now, we only have multiplication and division left. And they're weighed equally, according to PEMDAS. So what that means is you move from left to right. So 6 divided by 2 times 3. Basically, that's saying this. 6 divided by 2 is going to be 3, and then times 3 is going to give you 9. So this is actually going to be 9. Levi thought it was 1, but Levi left. So if you leave, you think it's 1.
Yeah, it's 9. Come on.
Oh no.
Oh, Koo's got another question.
Kooz is back.
Koo's is back.
Kooz is back in action.
Back again.
Kooz was like, I'll be back. And now he's like, I'm back.
Doofus.
And he's looking for John Connor. Terminator reference. Oh, now Koozy's got a lot of questions today.
Yeah, you do, Koozie, because
Yes.
you're making use of this service,
Yes, you
unlike
do.
everybody else.
Ooh, shots fired. Pew, 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 pew. Like a weird futuristic wimpy laser gun that like says the word pew. That's what that is.
All right, we don't need these answer choices. 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 4.
Hello, Levi. I'd like to do this one.
You want to do this one?
I'd like to do this. I can have a lot of questions if you want. Shady's back. That's me.
Oh,
Brady's
Crumbs.
back.
Crumbs, why? Shady's back. Telephone. Wait, who? Oh, Internet Shortcut. Yeah, when are you taking your test, Internet Shortcut? You were the one who said you were in September or August?
Impossible.
Elmo.
While we're waiting to hear August and October. Look at
August
that.
and October.
Look at that.
Why don't you just take them in September instead? Just do it once in September. Don't actually listen to that. This is stupid. It's not being offered. Do exactly what you're doing because you're not being an idiot like me.
There is no September.
Yeah. I just kidding. But
So, we here have a quadratic. So a quadratic is going to have two solutions because it is a polynomial of degree 2. Whatever degree your polynomial is, it'll tell you the number of solutions it has. However, they're not necessarily going to be real solutions. You might have two solutions that are real. You might have one solution 2 times that's real, or you might have 0 real solutions, which means you have 2 complex solutions. Complex meaning they have imaginary. Do we tutor any subject tests? Yes, we do. We do math level 1, math level 2. We do physics, we do chemistry, we do biology, and we do U.S. history.
But not on stream. This is only for SAT and ACT and college application essay stuff.
Yes. If you want those services, send us a message. Okay, so a quadratic. In order to find the number of solutions a quadratic is going to have, what you want to do is investigate the discriminant. There is another way to do this that I'll show you maybe afterward, but I think the more general thing is if you're trying to find the number of solutions a quadratic has, you want to do the discriminant. In order to do the discriminant, you've got to get this in standard form. This is not in standard form right now. So to put it in standard form, you got to get everything multiplied out, all on one side is equal to 0. It's already equal to 0, great, but remember standard form looks like this. ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, and right now that is not cutting it. We're going to have to FOIL first. So this is going to give us t squared plus 30t plus 225, and then we have plus 5 is equal to 0. So if I simplify that just a little bit, I'm talking just slightly, we have t squared plus 30t, and then we have plus 230. I see what Levi's doing. I see what Levi's doing. Levi's going to show you the other way. It's much faster in this case. Okay, good. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So in this case, what we would get is 30 squared minus 4 times 1 times 230. Wow, that's a big number. So this is, let's get another marker here, 900, oh, that's a great marker, oh my gosh, minus 8, minus 920, which is negative 20. Negative 20, if it's a negative discriminant, that means you have no real solutions. No real solutions. Now Levi showed you a much faster way of doing it, which is, it's basically, the way that they give it to you is they've completed the square, and they've created this square t plus 15 squared expression. So he solved this first by subtracting 5, and then the next step would be you'd have to take the square root to get rid of the squared. But you've already got a negative here. So when you do that, you're going to end up with imaginary. Plus or minus the square root of negative 5. So no matter what you do, you're going to have no real solutions because you're taking square roots and negatives, okay? If you want a review on the discriminant and exactly how it works and the 3 different situations, please tell us now. This is the only time you'll ever have to tell us until the next time that you could possibly ask us, because that's how time works. But we'll answer it right now.
In the meantime, Kuz's next question is the same type of thing.
Discriminant.
Tutoring.
.com. No. You cannot have infinite solutions. Yes, Nakuz, there you go. Yes. It's 2 real solutions. Yeah. Positive is 2 real solutions, 0 is 1 real solution, and negative is no real solutions. You got it. Great job, not Kuzi. You're absolutely not Kuzi. I don't care what people say.
Oof, that's good. What's good?
I think you just had some like really tasty dessert.
Oh, okay. Was it an oof?
Honestly, you guys are awesome.
Oh, stop it, Crumbs.
Jeez.
You're awesome. You got a 36. That's really dirty.
Oh, crumbs.
Probably a very dirty sick. 6.
You're-
That's why it was, sorry, 36. That's probably why you got sick.
You got
Crumbs,
36.
are you going to be a senior? Would you like some essay help? Do you have questions about the common application or other applications? we might not be able to answer about other applications. Cool. Yeah. Well, do you have questions, or like what are you guys writing about? Do you have questions about what you should or shouldn't write about? You can make them specific. I'm not going to answer questions, that are sent to me on, just personally on Discord, just because I can't do that with my time. But if you're willing to ask questions on here, then you can ask questions on here. I'm trying to jump from 1390 to 1500. I don't know if that's possible. It's possible.
It's possible. It's possible. Yeah. If you want to, talk to us. Send us a message after the stream.
Yeah, applying to college is a good place. It is. I like it. It's not perfect, but who is, aside from you?
I'm not perfect. Should we tell them who says, who bids thee welcome? We haven't done that in a while.
Haven't we?
Maybe not. The timing, though, sorry, the thing is with our school is they explain all college stuff during school. Oh, like I don't know anything about college app or essays. I got the answer to this question already, so you can skip if you want.
Great.
Oh.
Because you just do the discriminant, you set it equal to 0 because it's exactly one solution, and then you solve for k. Cool, so you got that. Let's move on. I think it's my turn to do a koozie question. Those of you who are not koozie, not including not koozie, you need to ask your questions, because otherwise we'll just be saying hi and then doing koozie's questions. So you're basically just watching somebody else get tutored, which has its merits.
Oh, but, absolutely.
This is not a meritocracy, and for that reason alone, you should ask your questions. Your own questions. This looks fun.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some answers. Which of the following is equivalent to the expression up there? So I'm probably just going to have this guy and then mess with it. But first, I'm going to show you this stuff. Yeah, let's do it like that. What essays are you talking about? Common App. Yes, correct. I'm fine with that. You're fine with that, Kuz. Of course you are. That makes sense. Okay. Wait, sorry. You're fine with that situation. Are you fine with this question? You want me to go over this question, or are you done with this question as well? What's Common App? Fatality, are you... I think it's my school. It's going to... Okay. Yeah, then you're not fine with this question. Good. Fatality, if your school... Yeah, just Google Common App, but if your school is going to tell you stuff, then you could wait until then. We'll still be around. What do we write in that personal essay? Okay, so look at those prompts. Basically anything that's important to you. I can do that next. Essay stuff. We'll get there in a sec. Okay, so koozie, this question, not koozie, also this question. You have the sum of two fractions, and all of your answer choices are individual fractions, or I guess fractions over 1, because you have x plus 2 over 1, technically, right? So for this, you have to combine those two fractions. It sometimes helps in the math section to look at where you need to get to, especially in this one. You've got to combine those two fractions up top. That's what we're going to do. So we have x squared over x minus 2. And then we have plus 4 over 2 minus x. Oh, this is fun. Never mind, it's good now. Oh, the stream is glitching. That's not good. Okay, it's green now, so we should be okay at the moment.
Thank gosh.
All right. Oh, fatality is mellow. What? Oh, in our Discord you're mellow, in the other Discords you're fatality. Got it. Okay. Here's the thing with these. I was thinking that we have to find some weird common denominator. We don't have to multiply by anything aside from -1, because x minus 2 is the opposite of 2 minus x, right? You have a positive x and a negative x, a negative 2 and a positive 2. So all we got to do is multiply one of these, it doesn't matter which, by -1. Let's take this, or sorry, we're multiplying it by -1 over -1, so we don't actually change it. That's important. So what's going to happen is this one will become, let's do it in yellow, I guess. We'll get x squared over x minus 2, so that's the same thing. But now, on top of the right one, we have -4, and on the bottom, we have this, which will give us x minus 2. Please let me know if that doesn't make sense to you. We add these two together, we get x squared minus 4 over x minus 2. Okay, now next step. This is actually a cool problem. You sent 3 links. I'm glad. We will do those links. Now, we're going to factor the top here. That's the next step. It's a hard thing to realize. We'll explain something else that we can do for this problem in a sec. This is a difference of squares. If you don't know what a difference of squares is, it will help you enormously, more so on the SAT than the ACT, with recognizing what to do in this problem and others like it, and you will get problems like this. X squared minus 4 is a difference of squares. It can break down into the factors x plus 2, x minus 2, and then we have x minus 2 on the bottom, which means those two cancel, and we're left with x plus 2, which means our answer is A, x plus 2. The other way to do this problem is to plug in values. So in the problem, it does say that x cannot be equal to 2. The reason they do that is because you would have 2 minus 2. If you plugged in x for 2, or 2 for x, you get 2 minus 2, which is 0. Then you're dividing by 0. So generally, when they tell you, oh, x can't be this value, it's because they don't want you to divide by 0 in the actual expression, because that's illegal in math. Otherwise, you break physics and the world ends, as does the universe. So what we're looking for is equivalent expressions. Don't you guys have to multiply the first part by -1 also? No, we do not, because the goal is to find a common denominator. The common denominator we're going for is x minus 2. So I'm leaving this first fraction as it is, and then the second one I'm multiplying by -1 over -1. Okay, maybe you're making this mistake. This is an expression, not an equation. Do you guys know what capstone is? Depends on what you're referencing, like a capstone project at the end of a study thing or whatever? Probably. Kuzi, you might be making this mistake. This is an expression, not an equation. When you have an expression, you have to do the same thing to both sides. Prod Vanix is here, by the way, saying hi to you. You have to do the same thing to both sides of an equation. So if you have 2x plus 3 equals 17, you have to do -3 and -3. So you have to do the same thing. And then you would divide by 2 and divide by 2 on both sides. But when you have just an expression, there aren't two sides, right? So if you multiply one side of the expression by -1, there's no other side to balance that out, right? The whole point is if you have two sides of something, they're equal because we say they're equal. So we have to do the same thing. If we add 3 to both sides or subtract 3 from both sides, then everything's good. But the values have actually changed, but they've changed by the same amount. Here, we can't change the value. We have to keep the value the same, but we can change the way it looks. So we multiply by 1. This is technically 1 because it's -1 over itself. The point is to change this fraction. You see, very good.
Even if he's had this set equal to something, like if the problem had this, he could still do what he just did because it didn't change the value of anything. He's manipulating things around. Hopefully that throws some extra stuff, adds some gasoline to the fire of understanding.
Always add gasoline to the fire of understanding.
Yes, that's what Levi always says just now.
Yep.
Hi, Privanics.
The other way to approach this question, so -4 over x minus 2 equals 4 over 2 minus x. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So it's like 1/2 equals... Yes, you're multiplying the top and the bottom by the same number. In this case, it's -1, which is not something we normally do. Normally, you multiply the top and bottom by 5 or something like that. The other way to approach this question is to understand that if two expressions are equivalent for all values of x, you can choose a value of x, and they also have to be equivalent. So this is a way to eliminate answers. It can sometimes be faster, but it can sometimes be slower than the way we just did. Well, yeah, I will be working on a capstone project this senior year. Cool, what's it on? So in this one, let's plug in 0. We say, okay, what is the value of the given expression when x is 0? Well, we plug in 0 for x, and we get, well, this becomes 0 because it's 0 divided by something, so it goes away. And then this we get 4 divided by 2, because that 0 goes away. So now we know that when x equals 2, that means that the given equals, sorry, when x equals 0, my bad, we plugged in 0 and we found that the given will be 2, which means that for the correct answer over here, we have to get a value of 2 when we plug in 0 for x. We get that in A. We don't get that in B, so that's wrong. We get that in C, so it's okay. So A and C are both fine. And then in D, we don't get it. We get -2. So we just eliminated B and D. Now this approach doesn't give you the right answer. It tells you when answers are wrong because they have to be equivalent for all values of x aside from -2. So in this case, we plugged in 0, we got rid of 2 answers. Now you can plug in 1 and see what happens. But sometimes that can take a longer period of time than doing this. This is generally what they're going for, this approach. It's the more algebraic approach. Okay. Coos, Vanix, relax, guys. Always at each other's throats. All right. Slayer Darts, say I have a... Oh, can you read Slayer Darts' question? I'm going to talk about the essay for a hot sec. Slayer Darts' question is in the Discord, but it's written out. So maybe you want to look at that yourself while I talk about the essay. Okay. So, Common App essay stuff. What should you write about? Well, very generally, it's got to be something you care about. I always go... I need to draw this in again because I always miss that. The Common App essay has to be something you care about. You are not going to do a good job writing about something you don't like. It won't work because these admissions officers read hundreds and thousands of essays, and a good majority of them are written about things that the kids don't care about, and the admissions officers can see that. I promise you that the admissions officers are better at seeing through your essay than you are at making an essay that's BS. I promise you. So you need to find topics that you actually care about. And that might actually take more soul searching than you've done on these things. But consider what you care about. The Common App essay prompts are basically, what do you care about? That's what they're asking. They say, what's an important person? What's an important event? When you learn something? Or the last one is, write an essay about a topic of your choice. So you can do anything you want. Don't do something stupid. Don't do something stupid. Don't do something hateful. You need to do something that demonstrates you as a person. Wow. We're getting a lot of messages from...
Thank you, Coos. Thank you, Coos.
Koozie.
Look, you are taking advantage. We love that.
Internet Shortcut put some links, he said.
Internet Shortcut put some links. Slayer Darth is still the next one. I
Yes.
care about world peace. As someone who is not from the States but is toying with the idea of perhaps pursuing further study of here, what is required for this essay of which you speak?
Are you applying to college, or are you applying to undergrad, or are you applying to postgrad? Because we don't do postgrad stuff. Okay. So, ow. Okay. Just popped my hip. Undergrad. Okay. Yeah, so this is the common application. It is what you got what most colleges accept. So, so it's so you don't have to send us an individual application to every single school. Most schools in the country sign on to one of the major application platforms. Common App is the biggest one. There's one called Coalition App. There are a couple more, depending on the type of school you're going for. What do y'all write about to get into Stanford? I wrote about an old guy that I met, and I didn't think he was interesting, and then he got more interesting. Obviously, that's really diminishing what I said, but it was just like some old guy I met in a nursing home when I was helping out there when I was going into senior year of high school, maybe junior year.
Fatality, do you actually care about world peace? I mean, you should, but do you?
It's doomed, so I wouldn't write about it.
No, I mean, you can't write an essay that's like the standard world peace is important essay. Like, you've got to find a very interesting thing about world peace or some aspect that most people don't think about or talk about. What % of your class were you guys in high school?
There were about 400 kids, so I was about 0.25% of my class.
For me, so there was about 1,000 kids in my grade, so I was 0.0001.
Well, 0.0001 or 0.01%.
0.01%.
Yeah.
Yes.
What
seems to be more
extracurricular?
No, not Kuzi. I'm not sure you understand. Not Kuzi. I think you meant to ask what percentile were we, but you just said like what percent of your class were you
So
in?
we made
high
up
school?
that percentage of maybe the mass of our class. I was very small.
He's saying that he was
So-
1/400th of his class, and I was 1 in 1,000 of my class. Not first in 1,000, just one body in 1,000 bodies.
Prod Vanix, be sweet to Kuzi. Kuzi's very fragile tonight.
Yes. Kuzi was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every morning he breaks his arms. Every night he breaks his legs.
And heals
SpongeBob.
very quickly.
It's a SpongeBob reference. Why didn't you reverse time and go watch SpongeBob as a child?
I
Now
just
that-
did.
now that you know.
That's stupid. We
So-
don't condone violence.
You don't get. Prod Vanix, they didn't actually have ranking at my school.
Yeah.
We didn't get that, so I don't know what number I was in my class.
Yeah, we didn't get that either. I wasn't valedictorian, but the valedictorian died under suspicious circumstances right before she applied to the same school as I did. So how I
Oh,
get in?
crumbs. I think you meant the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. I think that's what you meant. My mind are an enigma. Milk bottle falls over, spills. Yes. Excellent. I wrote an essay. Prod Vanix, they were good. I wrote an essay
So
about. Oh my gosh, so good. They make you write a bunch of them. Some of them are large, some of them are just very short essay questions, like write a paragraph about what you would want your future roommate to know about you. One of the ones that I remember specifically is my dad's dad and my mom's dad they both fought in World War II, but my mom's dad fought for the Americans and my dad's dad fought for the Germans. And kind of what that means, at least to me.
Is that how they met?
Yes.
Your paternal and maternal grandfathers met on the battlefield, and that's how you were born?
Yeah, it happened like right after.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
exactly how it met.
How did you meet your mom, by the way?
Wait a second. Felix, did Levi kill the valedictorian of his high school? Wait, if you eat
maybe.
if you eat the valedictorian, you become the valedictorian. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, what proportion of students attending schools such as Stanford come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds? More than you would think, because a lot of those schools actually offer full financial aid to students who can't pay, their families don't have enough money to pay. So they do what's called need-blind admissions, where they don't look at your background. They just look at your application. Is that true? Do they do that? No, they don't look at what you need, right? I guess they would know that from, because I've heard need-blind admissions.
Yeah, they do need-blind admissions and then need-based financial aid.
Yeah, so these are not student loans, but these schools, they don't ask you for the money back. They have such a generous endowment, which is just the amount of money that they basically have in the bank to support the school, that they're able to pay for all the students that can't pay for it themselves. Now, of course, you need to have documents, legal documents showing, what your family makes, and so that you can't just say, hey, we don't have any money, pay for us, if you do. But yes, there are schools that offer generous financial aid, so you got to do your research here. Okay. I don't know, but Slayer Darth, the statistics are online. Just look up Stanford admissions statistics or student body statistics. It's all there.
Yeah,
What was that
also,
equation on the board?
the schools we applied to are also online. Kuzi and Prod Vanix, that is also online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all online. Tindo123, I am poor.
Very good.
That's it.
That's great.
That's honestly the one. Yeah. Do your research. Scholarships, schools that offer financial aid. You can pull it off if you. I mean, your job should be doing research on colleges and how you can pull it off. That should be your
Yeah.
job right now.
Do you mean that type of pour, or you mean the one with the U?
Oh, like pouring a drink?
Yeah, and in that case, what's your viscosity?
Oh, hey, it is not polite to ask someone what their viscosity is, Levi.
You can't just ask a student what their viscosity is.
You cannot do that. All right, this was Slayer Darth. Slayer Darth, yes, good. Slayer Darth, so you're asking about this question. You're saying, how do you solve this for x and how do you solve this for y? Well, number one, you can only do one of those at a time, because when you solve it for x, y will still be on the other side. If you solve it for y, x will be on the other side. So we're not going to get, like, x is equal to 5. One mistake that I noticed you made. Does full ride depend on my academic achievement or financial problem? Oh, okay, so you'll get full ride Yeah, basically the short answer is both. So like I had a good friend who his family was pretty well off, but he got like a 36 on the ACT in 7th grade. I mean, this kid is an absolute genius. So he was offered full rides from a couple different schools because basically he'd be bringing up the school statistics. Like if the average ACT scores for a school are here and then you're up here, chances are you're not going to want to go to that school. You're going to want to go to school over here. But because they want you really badly, they're willing to pay. So he actually ended up getting a full ride to Vanderbilt, which was just based off of his academic achievement. However, the full ride and like, yeah, they have certain full ride programs for students that are, they look at both. Differential equations now on the ACT, absolutely not. Black Guy 3000, that premise is laughable. Ha. Slayer Darth, you cannot do what you did. So you multiplied 7 times 9 and got this as 63 to the y. You can't do that because exponents come first in PEMDAS. So 9 to the y happens first, and then you multiply that quantity times 7. You cannot turn it into 63 and then take it to the y, because you would be multiplying before applying exponents. This girl in my school had a 3.0 unweighted GPA and a 1200 SATs, but a full ride to Cornell. That is crazy. That's very interesting. Huh, there must be something, is she an athlete? Does she do things besides school? Her dad is extremely rich. Does really good essay? Don't think so. Does he donate a lot to the school? Did he go? There are ways to grease the wheels.
Also,
unfortunately,
I would like to say that college application. Yes, thank you, Blackout. College application essays are enormously important. You can't rely on them. You can rely on grades and scores to get your foot in the door at schools, right? If you fit their demographics for scores and grades, you have a good shot. The college application essays, those essays, the one, the Common App one, the short answer stuff, and any supplemental essays that any given school asks for, those seriously are very, very, very important, because especially at any school, they don't want the same people. So even at top schools, there are too many people who are getting perfect scores on the SAT, who have perfect GPAs, and they're not differentiating themselves that way. That is not the way to differentiate yourself. Get the best grades you can get, and then write some damn good essays.
Yeah, I think they said something about Stanford where it was like, of all the students that apply, there are a certain number of students that academically are able to handle the load at Stanford. But of those students who could pull it off, only 1/3 get in. So not only do you have to show that you have the caliber to pull off, academics at a school like that, but you also need to somehow differentiate yourself between all of those students, or among all of those students.
They only like students speaking 3 languages simultaneously.
Yeah, so it's going to have to sound, I used to be able to do it,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure I can do it anymore.
No, we probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't. Okay, there's a lot of things going on here. Okay, if your parents went to a school, yes, you're a legacy that does give you a slight leg up. The degree to which you're given an advantage depends on the school. Huge scandals. English, French, Arabic. That's really cool. That shows that you've definitely got an interesting background. So I'm sure colleges would like that. Yeah, grammar errors, you don't want that. Are colleges racist against Asians? There's some kind of thing going on right now that I think Harvard is involved in. I don't know.
So with affirmative action, there are different camps with this, but a lot of people say that is the case. Half Asian, half Hispanic, so I register as Hispanic. He. Good. Very good.
Okay. All right, back to this for a sec. Okay, so Slayer Darth.
Blackout, you're so correct.
Yes. If your grades and SATs, that's strong. Extra grades are good.
Tindo, I doubt it.
My essay is good. How much does that extra? Internet shortcut. You're getting to the point where you're looking at very, very small details of what if I have this, but this isn't this, and then this is this, and then this is this. Is that going to be okay? There are so many schools to apply to. Some of them are going to accept you. Some of them are not going to accept you. So what you have to do is look at the statistics of these schools and say, okay, what is the standard ACT range that these schools accept? Now, it's all across the board, but each school, they'll give you what's called the middle 50 percentile, which is, you subtract the bottom quarter and the top quarter of scores getting in, and you'll say that 50% of our students are between a 28 and a 31. So if you're over at 24, you're probably not going to get in. If you're somewhere in the middle of there, you got a pretty good shot. And if you're somewhere above there, you got an even better shot.
Stream froze. We're fine now.
Okay.
What did you guys miss? What did he say that you want us to repeat? Tell us what he said. We'll repeat it. And then
Internet
we'll move on.
shortcut. We were talking about you. So basically, extracurriculars, does that help with the extracurriculars? If your essay is good, how much does that help with the extracurriculars? There's so many factors here. The most important factors, internet shortcut. Let us know when you're back. Slay or Darth? I didn't do it yet.
Oh. I thought you did. You
No.
started talking to him.
No,
and you were
no,
like,
no.
you couldn't do 63, and so I thought it was over.
No, that was just the first part.
Dude, that's such a nice marker.
I know.
Can I have that one?
No.
So you don't
No.
ruin it?
Slay or Darth? It's all right. We got it here. That's a very small lie. Oh, jeez. Slay or Darth? If you want to solve for something that is currently being used as an exponent, you have to do what is basically the undoing of an exponent, which is a logarithm. A logarithm breaks apart an exponent and throws it over the other side. So we're trying to solve for x here. You want to take the log of both sides, and that'll get x by itself. Or I'm sorry, not take the log of both sides. Basically rearrange this exponential expression into a logarithm. Leave this stuff clumped together. We're only trying to solve for x here. The fact that there's a y in an exponent, just leave it up there. Don't worry about it. If you were to rewrite this as an exponent, it would turn into this. Log base 4 of 7 times 9 to the y is equal to x. Okay? If you are struggling with logarithms, just you don't know exactly how to rearrange them from exponents into logarithms and logs into exponents, we can talk about that. Okay? If you want to solve this for y, you're going to first have to get rid of the 7. So I'm going to first divide everything by 7. So we have 4 to the x over 7 is equal to 9 to the y. And now it's the same thing. We have to do a logarithm. So I'm going to do log, it's going to be base 9 of 4 to the x over 7 is equal to y. That is how you would solve that right there. The part right before the percentile, about 20 seconds. Internet shortcut. Is log going to be an SAT? Yes, Nakusi. Log, you will see log on the SAT and ACT. It does pop up. Not usually for a lot of questions, but like one or something like that. Internet shortcut. What I was saying to you is colleges publish statistics on who they admit. And they'll say something like the middle 50% of kids get an ACT score of 28 to 31. And they'll also say what it's like for the SAT. So if you get a score that's somewhere in there, that's pretty good. If you get a score that's less than that, it might be a little harder to get in. If you get a score that's greater than that, then you probably have a pretty good shot of getting in. So you have to apply to schools that cover a little range here. There's the reach schools, which are the schools that you're probably not going to get into, but you might, because it's a little bit of a crapshoot nowadays. Have a couple of those. Have a couple of just like schools that you're pretty sure you're going to get into, and then have a couple schools we call safety schools, which is like you're going to get into this. Like if maybe there's a school that like ACTs are 50% of the kids are between 24 and a 27, and you got a 31. So like you're pretty well above that middle chunk of kids. You're probably going to get into that school. I'm not saying that ACT is the all of it. It's not like that's the one thing they look at. The most important thing are your transcripts. The grades that you get in your college prep courses are the thing that colleges look at as like the most important, which is hard classes, how are they doing? Because that is the single most predictive thing they could look at to ask themselves, how are they going to do in classes here? If they're already taking, difficult classes there, we can just see how they're doing, and then we'll know that that's what they're going to do here. I should be able to do more research on logarithms myself, thanks. Sounds good. As far as I'm concerned, no matter where you are in the world, you should look at schools which excel in your subject area rather than the schools themselves. True. I.e., do not opt for a particular college just because it's highly prestigious. Rather, opt for a college that's one of the best for your degree subject. Yeah, if you know what subject you want to major in. And if you don't, then, you're going to figure out in college, but like finding a college with a specific degree program that you like, in that case, wouldn't really guide you anywhere because you're not sure what you want to study yet. And it's totally fine to not know. SAT should only be testing on the basics of log, right?
Yes. Slayer Darth, The U.S. is a little bit different from England in that I think Slider Darth is from England, right? Or in England currently?
I believe so.
Yeah, England students choose their areas of study and their job paths significantly earlier than do American students for the most part. So there are a lot of what we call them liberal arts schools. Like that's most American students don't know what they're doing before they go to college.
Yes. Not koozie. On the ACT, they do have log property questions every now and then. Do they not have property questions on the SAT?
They do. You could feasibly get it into exponents and then just do exponent properties. But sometimes that can get confusing, and it could also, you could memorize the log properties. It's not a bad idea, and they're not super complicated. Just make sure you practice. Don't just look at them and say, okay, I'll have them memorized.
Yes, don't you dare.
Try to wield them.
Math is a muscle. You have to flex this muscle.
You must flex the muscle.
Is College Panda Math a good book to review? You're talking to the wrong guys. I've never read College Panda Math. Although excuse me, no, there's nothing to say. I mean, that's why you have majors and minors, right? So that students become well-rounded. Yeah, I mean, there's students that get, a double major, and there's students that get only a major, and there's students that get, triple major, and major and a minor. So, I mean, getting well-rounded is a very good thing, and that's sort of why colleges have general education requirements. It's not you're not just taking all math classes. You're gonna get a couple classes in there that are other subjects, just so that you have some more, Well, nerds, I have to go. Robot face. Thanks for the info. You're welcome, Fatality.
No problem, Fatality.
Fatality.
Fatality word.
Fatality.
Okay, this question. There's an ultrasound technician sometimes uses
Micro bubbles.
micro bubbles.
Micro bubbles.
Yep, micro bubbles. And blah, blah, blah. We don't care about that first paragraph. Then the following expression, okay, here. What do we got? Take care, Fatality. That's good. Following expression represents the concentration in whatever of the microbubble suspension. Okay, there you go. Suspension remaining in a client T seconds after the technician has begun the ultrasound process. So that's important, I think, for this question. Yes, it is. So we got T seconds. So T equals seconds. And our equation is, oh boy, what is that? 100 million? 100 million times 0.5 raised to the t over 120 power. Why would you do that? Never want to raise t, or never want to divide t by 120. Only bad things can happen. Okay, now we're going to look for an expression that shows the multiple of the concentration. Did they say multiple? What does that mean? Which expression shows the multiple of the concentration remaining each minute as a constant or coefficient? Okay, I don't know why it says the multiple of the concentration, but I would think it just means the concentration. I didn't read that first paragraph. Maybe that would help. Whatever. But now we're changing from seconds to minutes. That's the change. That's why we got different exponents here. Looks like the right answer has a radical 0.5. That's weird. Okay, so for minutes, well, we need to get from t seconds to minutes, right? So that's going to be where things start to change. If we have, if t is seconds, then there is 60 seconds equals 1 minute, right? So t, we're now going to have to replace that by t over 60. So we're not replacing the 120 by 60. We're replacing t with t over 60. We need to divide t by 60 because there is only 1 minute for every 60 seconds. Or are we are multiplying by 60? We're multiplying by 60 because we have t seconds. No, we are dividing by 60. We have 1 minute over 60 seconds. and then the seconds cancel, and we get t over 60, and now we're in minutes. So, Bird, I always confuse myself with this. You ate too much ice cream. Okay, so we're going from seconds to minutes. This t is in seconds, and now we want it to be in minutes for the exponent.
It used to be seconds.
So now there should be, we're raising it to
Okay, so
the power. We want to raise it to the power so that every time that t increases, we got to increase a lot more. So it should be 60t, right?
Let's do this for a sec. Okay, so if you originally put 60 seconds into the original expression, you're going to get 1/2, right? Because you have 60 over 120.
Yes.
All right, so we want to get 1/2 after 1 minute has passed. So as long as our exponent...
so it should be 60t. So this is going to be a 60t up there now.
So you can just also say t over 2 at this point.
Yeah, so that will become t over 2, but there's no answer like that. And it looks like the correct answer is radical 5 and then t over 60. Or radical 0.5 instead of just 0.5, which is the square, it's to the 1/2 power. So this is the answer we have, and this will become the 100 million. Just write it like that. And then we have the 0.5. It's now going to be 0.5 raised to the t over 2 power. But the answer choice A, this is a super hard question. Answer choice A is actually 0.5 to the 1/2 power, because that's radical 5, and then that raised to the t over 60 power. So if we now use power rule, we get 0.5 raised to the t over 120. I don't know why A is correct.
Here, I got it.
You
So
do?
this is a constant and coefficient question. So all they want to see happening is the multiple of the concentration after each minute needs to show up as a coefficient. So with this equation that we've got here, if we plug in 1 minute to see like how much is going to be left after 1 minute, we would have 0.5 taken to the 1/2 power. If you take 0.5 to the 1/2 power, that means you're taking the square root of 0.5. A is the only thing that has the square root of 0.5 in it. So what that means is every minute you're going to be multiplying by the square root of 0.5 again, because this is exponential decay here.
Oh, it just shows the multiple of the concentration. This is a stupid question. It will not be on the SAT or ACT.
Yeah.
They would not ask it like this, at least.
You mean like up here?
I was basically answering a different question that is more likely for you to get, which is just what would the expression be to show the concentration if we're talking in terms of t being minutes instead of t being seconds. So this is, without the 60 here, you're raising it to this power. You're multiplying by 0.5. You have basically decay of 50% every 120 seconds. You decay by 50%. But now we want it in terms of minutes. So if it's every 120 seconds, you decay 50%. You need to decay 50% every 2 minutes. So what value of, basically you're trying to line up your values of t, but you're also going to be multiplying by 0.5 every time your t goes up by 120. So isn't this calculus? This is not calculus. There we go. I'm happy to show you an exponent. Is the next question that Kuzi posted an exponent question?
Let me take a look.
This is a very confusing one to talk about exponents with for the first time. Sorry, I'm back. Last question. Do letters of recommendation have to be written by a teacher? Depends. Normally, yes. Like you definitely want at least one teacher's letter of rec. I think you can have coaches?
Yeah, sure.
Coaches and stuff.
I had an acting teacher.
That wasn't from your school?
No, she was from my school. And never mind that, actually. Well, one of the clubs I was in, the sponsor of the club wrote one of mine. But I had teachers write the main ones.
Okay.
All right, so we already did that one. So the next Nakuzi one is margin of error statistics.
I recommend if you have questions on the on the Common App to start your Common App. It's not like they time you on it. So I would recommend beginning the Common App, and so they'll give you a bunch of information that we could also give you, but you might as well just find those things out for yourself, and then if you have follow-up questions, then you can ask us.
So wait,
do you think the ACT will be... Yeah, go ahead.
We already saw this one, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay. Because they put it after the question that we just did, so this would be the next one. Okay.
Ugh, gross. Do you think the ACT will put the Monty Hall question on the test? What's the Monty Hall question?
Oh, I love that question. It's the one where there's 3 doors in a game show and there's a goat behind one.
Oh, no. That's too tricky. I would not expect something at that level on the test.
No. Okay. The Monty Hall question is an epic question. All right. An archaeologist uses an accelerator mass spectrometer to find the age of a buried branch. At the 68% confidence level, the spectrometer reports that the branch was 10,000 years old with a margin of error of 200 years. Which of the following could the spectrometer report as the age of the branch at the 95% confidence level? Okay, so this is getting into the weeds with statistics, which you do not need to know this much for the SAT. You need to understand what they mean by standard deviation, not how to calculate it, but just how it's a measure of spread. But basically what this would be is if you make yourself a normal distribution, which is kind of the name for a bell curve, your mean is this top peak. This x value is your mean, which in this case it represents exactly what we think it is, so 10,000. So you'd have to know what's called the empirical rule, which is what percentage of the values fall between standard deviations here, which if you're doing a sample size is the standard error. Yeah, you know what? This is almost useless to talk about, but 68% of data falls between the first, the up 1 standard deviation and -1 standard deviation. So that means that margin of errors is 200 years. So the width of this thing is 200, the width of this thing is 200. So from, what is that? That's 9,800 to 10,200. That's a 68%. One more standard deviation out gives you 95% confidence. So that would be another 200 there. So this would give you 10,400, which is out here. And then this would be 9,600, which is over here. So you'd have a 95% confidence that your data, or that your actual age is going to be between 9,600 years old and 10,400 years old. Again, this is not going to be on the SAT. This statistics is too granular for them to ever ask you, because they can't expect you to know this. But Nakuzi, yeah, hope that was fun. 10,000 with margin of error to 500 years. Of 500 years is the answer. Oh, interesting. Margin of error 200 years. Which of the following could be the spectrum report as the age of the branch of the 95% confidence level? So it's 500 years. In which case, I don't know why the answer is 500 years, but I do know that you don't need to know this for the SAT. I could have sworn it would have been 2 standard deviations, so you just add another one, but there's probably some formula here that I am missing. And thus, I will continue to reduce embarrassment for not knowing something. All right, here's a fun one. Here's a fun one. All right. So how come the percent goes up when it becomes wider? Okay, so what that means is if you're going to take a sample of a population and you're going to look at the measurements of that sample itself, you're making a guess that whatever characteristics of that sample would apply to the whole population. So like, for instance, whenever they release polls on like who's leading, like, with an election coming up, they don't talk to every person in the whole country. They talk to a random sampling of people around the country, maybe 1,000 people. And they say, okay, so it looks like of these 1,000 people, 600 are leaning this way, 400 are leaning this way. So because we don't have the time or money to ask everyone, we're just going to assume that that percentage applies to the whole population as well. We know that we're not going to be perfectly accurate, but with the time and resources we have, that's the best we can do. So let's just say that you took that poll and it turned out that, let's say we're just talking about, the amount of people that like candidate A. The amount of people in this sample that like candidate A is, we're going to say 78%. In the sample is 78%, okay? If you look at the entire country, hopefully your sample was close to what the actual population is, but it's probably not going to be exactly what the sample is. You'd be very lucky if your sample was a perfect representation of the whole population. So what we do is we have what's called confidence intervals. If you only ask one person who they're going to vote for, so let's say they say, I'm going to vote for candidate A. It's like, all right, so that means 100% of people are voting for candidate A. That'd be a terrible sample because it's way too small. So the more people you ask, the more accurate your statistic is probably going to be. So you want to ask as many people feasibly as possible in order to get the most accurate data. So here's why our confidence level goes up. Let's say we think it's 78%. If we were to say, how likely is it that it's exactly 78% at the population level, we'd be like, we don't think it's like exactly 78%. We took a small sample of a massive population, so it's probably around 78%, but we don't know. And they say, okay, what about between, 50 and 100%? You think it's going to be there? And you'd be like, all right, yeah, I'm like 99% confident that it's going to be between 50 and 100. The chances that it's less than 50 are really, really small, considering that we interviewed 1,000 people and it was around 78%. Like, it's probably not going to be below 50. There's a chance, right? So we'd be like 99% confidence between 50 and 100. But if we keep going down and say, all right, what about the chances between 76 and 80? So what are the chances that our sample statistic is only 2 percentage points away from what the actual thing is? We're not as confident. As the window gets smaller, we cannot be as confident that what we got is actually representative of the whole population. As our guess gets wider and wider, we start to breathe easier because it's like, well, of course the actual data is going to be somewhere between 50 and 100% because, like the chances that it's less than 50 are pretty small. So we're pretty confident with that. But as that interval gets smaller and smaller from what we think the, population would be, we can't be as confident there. Can herpes be cured? I don't know. But when the confidence level goes up, shouldn't the interval be smaller? No, it's not going to be that. Because we become more confident if we're allowed more data, if we're allowed more spread of possible data. What we're trying to express confidence in is that our guess, 78%, is the actual amount of people in the entire country that like candidate A. We don't know if that's true. All we looked at was our own sample of 1,000 people. So the chance that it's exactly 78% is tiny. Yes, good. It's like the opposite of what you think. Very good. All right. The next question, if a times x plus b squared is equal to 3x squared plus 36x plus c, what is the value of c? All right, with these kinds of questions, typically you'd see one more part of this, which is for all values of x that they did not put here. If you see this on a test, you will see for all values of x. What that means is any value of x you put in, I thought confidence level meant how confident we are in the answer. How confident a spread of data has what the actual answer would be in it. So like, is our population gonna, the preference for candidate A, is that going to be between 0 and 100%? Of course it will. I'm 100% confident it'll be between 0 and 100%. Is it going to be between 78 and 79%? Maybe. I'm not as confident now. It's a much smaller probability that it's in there. Then we're more confident in the results. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But it sounds like you got it in your head. So that's very good. So for this one, if this works for all values of x, then whatever we have on the left side needs to match what we have on the right side. That's the only way that can happen. So let us FOIL what's on the left side and distribute and just basically expand this as much as possible. So this is going to be a times x plus b squared. And x plus b squared is going to get us x squared plus 2bx plus b squared. and that is set equal to the other side, which is Levi. Do you mind? Levi keeps coughing, and it's extremely rude and selfish. Plus C. Okay, good. Now let's expand by just distributing the a into that. So we have ax squared plus 2abx plus a times b squared is equal to all of this stuff. If this is true for all values of x, what we have on the left side must be symmetrical to, and therefore must match what's on the right side. These have to be the same thing, okay? So for instance, the x squared terms. On the left side, we have ax squared. On the right side, we have 3x squared. Those two terms have to match each other for this to be true for all possible values of x. So in order for that to be true, a has to be 3. The only way for ax squared to match 3x squared is for a to be 3 itself. So right there we found a. A has to be 3. Okay? Good. We're good so far. The question here is what's the value of c? On the left side, the value of c is ab squared. We don't know b yet, but we know a. So I'm going to rewrite this knowing that a is 3. So this is going to turn into 3x squared plus, if I put 3 in for a, that'll turn into 6bx plus 3b squared is equal to 3x squared plus 36x plus c. So the next thing we can figure out is the middle term. We have 6bx is equal to 36x. That's the x term on both sides. So 6b and 36 must be the same thing. And if that is the case, then b has to be equal to 6. B has to be equal to 6. Oh, how'd I get this question wrong? I don't know, maybe some sloppy math mistakes, maybe conceptual, I don't know. I mean, I know it's a rhetorical question. So anyway, I put 6 in for b, and this turns into 3x squared plus 36x plus 3 times 6 squared. 36 is 6 squared. 3 times that will be 90 plus 18, which is 108. So you got 108. That's right. That is what C is. I'm not sure. Is that what you got originally? Because then in that case, C has to be 108. Do you guys answer the questions in the Discord? Absolutely. Chair stream investigator. Chair stream investigator. No, it wasn't. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. In the specific channel, which is called, well, it's the Nerdish channel, but specifically questions for stream. You go ahead and just drop a little question in there, and then we're going to answer the crap out of it. We're going to really beat that question to the ground. Honestly, that was perfect. What was perfect? The explanation? Damn, time flies. Price line. Or was it the chair stream investigator? Is that what you liked? 'Cause that's what I liked. That was my favorite part of that. My theme song. Yes, that's right.
This is a kind of a general question, but can you guys explain how to factor out polynomials fast?
It's actually fastly. You want to make it an adverb, isn't that right?
Yeah, and if you want to make it a name, it's fast word.
Yeah. That'll be what I name my firstborn.
Fast word?
Fast word. Fast word, rict word.
I know the simple way when it has to add up to b and multiply to c.
Okay, yeah, we can do that, but we'll have to wait on that. Is that Kuzi asking?
Yeah.
Okay, there is
Sorry. Do it.
there's I don't know who's Unknown Panda, but we got a question from them in the Discord, so we're gonna hop to that one, and then we'll do a Kuzi question. Kuzi, do you want us to just keep going in your questions, or would you prefer us to answer or just go through how to do your polynomial factoring stuff? Polynomial one. Okay, cool. All right. Wait, not this one.
This is Unknown Panda.
No, you clicked the wrong question.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's why I didn't actually click this. Oh, gosh.
Bozo.
Dude, I'm honestly...
Okay, who's Unknown Panda? Is that Chair Stream, or is it somebody else?
Show yourself, fool.
Show yourself, learned fool.
Learned fool.
Learned fool. Not me. All right. Okay, so this question, okay, we have g of x equals 5 minus e to the x power.
This is like a calculus question because they're asking about the intermediate value theorem.
Oh, okay. Let me just read it.
Sure. I'll make it big.
Okay, so so there's a thing, and somebody says that g of x in that first line up there, g of x equals 0, has a solution where x is between 1 and 4 inclusive. Great. So this guy's justification, we have to see if it's correct. So g is defined for all real numbers. I assume all real values of x. Sure, that's true. So because the domain is all reals, because you can raise e to whatever power you want. It doesn't matter. And then it says, and exponential functions are continuous at all points in their domain. Yes. So, according to the intermediate value theorem, g of x equals 0 must have a solution somewhere between 1 and 4. No, that's a bit of a jump. It's continuous, but it's a logical fallacy here. I mean, I don't even know what it is. You just, if something before that were true, you don't have intermediate value theorem is not on the SAT, so I'm not going to explain it. That doesn't work here. Also, this cannot equal 0. The domain is not all reals. The domain is all reals for this. The range is not, because oh wait, no, it could
equal 0.
What am I saying? Yeah, I was thinking e to the x equals 0, and that's not true.
You have to show that the sign switches from negative to positive or positive to negative to prove that there is a 0 somewhere in there. So you'd actually have to find what is the y value at g of 1 and what is the y value at g of 4. And if you find those and 0 ends up being between them, it's got to hit 0 at some point on its way from that first y value to that second y value.
Although honestly, what's faster is just solving it for 0 and seeing if it's between 1 and 4. It's no harder.
It's
right?
not, but it's not asking. It's asking about his justification.
Oh, true. The justification is wrong though, because they didn't establish intermediate value theorem ends. Okay, let's not do that. Okay, Kuzi. So factoring polynomial stuff. So you know the basics. Is it basically just when that leading coefficient is not 1? Because that's what I've seen to be the most challenging for people.
Or if it's like cubic and maybe you got to take stuff out of everything.
Yeah, I mean they won't have you do like the special cubic things.
Yeah, no.
Wasn't that calculus?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
intermediate
it doesn't
value
matter.
theorem is calculus.
Yeah. We don't do calculus. That's why we didn't really explain it. Yeah, I need help with that. Okay, so let's say that you have this function f of x. We don't need f of x, but whatever. You have this expression with 2x.
Do you want it to be factorable? I know one off the top of my head.
Yes, give me something factorable.
6x squared plus x minus 2.
Okay, so this is factorable, Bird says, so we'll see. Okay, so it is that AC method. You know, you're used to saying, okay, they add up to b, which is 1, and they multiply to -2, but it's only when you don't have that leading coefficient. So this is called the AC method. Your method that you know, the simple one with just b and c, is sort of the same thing, but it's not taking into account this leading coefficient because it's 1. So you'd actually be doing 1 times that thing, but then you can skip some of these steps. The approach here is to take, so we have a, b, and c. You do a times c, which will be -12, and then you take b, which is 1, and you do the same thing as you normally do. You find it's instead of just seeing what multiplies to c, you see what multiplies to ac. So you're still looking for a pair of factors of ac that adds to 1. So doing the factors of 12, 1 and 2, 1 and 12, that's no good. 2 and 6, that's no good. 3 and 4, this is it. Now we need to find which one's negative. It would be the -3 so that they add up to a +1. Please let me know if this doesn't make sense. And then what we're going to do is we're going to break this down. We're going to write the expression again, but we're going to break up this plus x into -3x plus 4x minus 2. So now all we did was we broke up that x into these 2 factorable pieces. Okay? It does not matter the order. You could have done plus 4x minus 3x. I just wrote them in the order I had them over here. It will not matter. Now you break this in half. And you have to keep in mind that plus. That's part of this. So you have that piece and you have that piece. We're going to factor by grouping now. we're going to factor out the biggest thing we can, the biggest common factor from here, greatest common factor, which would be a 3x. So we get 3x. Pull that out, we get a 2x minus 1. Now, we're going to take out the biggest factor we can from these two, the greatest common factor. We want what's left over to be 2x minus 1. So we need to figure out what to take out from 4x that will give us 2x, essentially. It's pretty easy. You take out a 2. It's going to be your greatest common factor. You take out a plus 2. You have to remember that plus in there, because things can get messy when that's a minus, so keep that in mind. Pull out a 2. We get x. No, we don't. We get 2x minus 1.
Why not 3, my lord?
Because 4 divided by 2 is 2, Brady.
Okay, my lord.
Now we're here. Now we're going to factor again. We're going to pull out the greatest common factor from this thing and this thing. Now it's weird, but they're already factored. We're going to pull out a 2x minus 1 from both of them because they both have it. So we pull out a 2x minus 1, and we get left over 3x plus 2. This is how you factor that stuff.
733.
I recommend trying this. Just Google factoring when a does not equal 1. Just write that. You will get worksheets on it. This is the general. This doesn't hit all the edge cases. There's an edge case. When you have a minus here. Actually, I'm going to do that really quickly. So let's say we write 6x plus 4x minus 3x minus 2. So in this case, I just put the 4x first and the 3x second. That's the only difference. It will still work. We're taking out the greatest common factor. I don't know why I'm doing that. Greatest common factor from here, which is a 2x. Yes, Bert?
Not Kuzi, why do you say you feel like this is a bit too perfect? Because it was factorable? Because it's not always going to be factorable.
Yeah, if you can't find this, then you'll have to do quadratic formula or graph it or something. But if you can find this pair of factors, this will work.
Yeah, well, by design, we made sure to use one that was factorable. Otherwise, we don't want to show you, hey, look at this. It doesn't work. Okay, never mind. We don't want to do that. That's just not what we want to do. That's not what we're about here at Nerdish.
We're not about that. Okay, so but if we find these two, we're good. It will work. So I'm pulling out a 2x here. We get 3x plus 2. And then I'm going to pull out what I need to from this one to get a 3x plus 2 here. Not to waste time.
Well, it might ask you to factor something, and the answers will be the factors. So you'll have to know. Now, then again, you could reverse engineer it and then take the factors and FOIL them and see which one gives you the original.
Yeah. Okay, so this is an important situation here. Now, unlike in this time, we had that, and then we had a plus, which is fine. That makes things kind of easy. In this case, we have a minus here. If you have a minus here, you have to pull out a negative greatest common factor. Now, there is no common factor here aside from 1, so we're going to pull out a minus 1. We pull out a minus 1, we get 3x plus 2, and then we pull out 3x plus 2, we get 3x plus 2, and then what's left over is 2x minus 1. Those two are the same, so it doesn't matter the order you put there.
Yay! We did it! All of us, together.
Please, let me show you one that doesn't work, hopefully. 3x squared minus 2x plus 4. Okay, let's try to factor this. So AC equals 12 and B equals negative 2. So the factors are 1, 2.
No.
1, this won't work?
No. I was going to say, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. 1 and 12, that doesn't work. 2 and 6, that's not going to work. 3 and 4, that's not going to work.
No.
We can't do it.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. I wish there was more educational content on Twitch like this. You guys are amazing. There's there S Shroud. Hey, how'd you know the name of my child psychologist? Dr. There S Shroud.
So what we...
For that we use quad format.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
or graph
yes.
it or something. Yeah. You won't be able to factor it nicely. Just like any other time. If you can't do this part where you find the factors that give you B when you add them together, you're cooked. You got to do other stuff.
Now, if you're pretty clever, you would get the calculator program that we put on our Discord on your own calculator. If you have a calculator that will take it, TI-83, TI-84, TI-84 plus, all that stuff, and you just quad on it, So you could just plug it in the quad. Second thing is, hey, are you guys stressed out from homework even though it's the summer? If so, you should use a program that's about to be popped up on a screen, not Accelerate Tutoring, Alta Ipsum, that's right. Accelerate Tutoring is me and Levi tutoring.
Where'd you hear about Alta Ipsum, Kuzi?
Alta Ipsum. Are you sick of not having Alta Ipsum in your life? Try having Alta Ipsum in your life. There it is.
From your friends and family.
Executive functioning. It's an app. You got planning, your grades, your tracking, your life, you're making friends.
You put in what you need to do. It'll tell you what you need to do before that to get the good grades. But if you get bad grades, it also tracks your grades, and then it'll tell you you're getting bad grades.
It's free for a month. Also, Levi and I are sponsored by Tide Bond Original Wood Glue.
Bird, tell them how much money we're being paid by Tide Bond Original Wood Glue to make this advertisement, and tell them how we're not doing it as a joke.
Well, let's see. If what we're doing for Tide Bond is technically advertising, because they're not paying us anything, we're making negative money because we're putting our own time into this.
Yes, they're paying us in $4 per decade.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
It's $2 nerdish bucks for 5 years, which is 2/5 of a nerdish buck per year. So we're talking 40 nerdish cents per year, which is 20 cents per half the year, 10 cents for a quarter of the year, which is 3 months.
Yeah, okay, we just so you know, the Alta Ipsum is a paid sponsor, and we just do the Tide Bond Original Wood Glue because we have a very tight bond.
We have a tight bond.
It's a tight bond. It's a joke. So don't feel like we're trying to sell you Tide Bond Original Wood Glue. They have bad labeling techniques. Sue the glue. I love wood glue. Yes.
What you guys don't know right now is that I'm scratching Levi's back.
Yes, with his fingers.
My fingernails.
Yeah, your
I can't use my fingers.
That is very nice. Can you keep going there?
There you go.
Oh my God.
This guy, he's so stressed out.
This is where I tutor.
He's so stressed out. Why is he so stressed out?
Nakuzi,
great questions. I love Tide Bond Wood Glue. It's the industry standard. Professional strength in interior use. Sands easily.
Water cleanup.
Yeah, well, short clamp time, and then
water cleanup.
Good.
Oh, we can finish them.
Oh, not only can we absolutely won't.
Actually, you won't. I will. You won't be here.
That's right.
Bird will not be here. It will just be me. Station Stream, what are you doing? You're late. We're about to sign off.
We're about to sign off. I'm seeing a fun little stand-up comedy show tomorrow. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm living tomorrow. Yeah, I'm seeing a comedian named Tom Segura. And I invited Levi to come, and then I realized I'll be missing stream, and Levi can't come because he's the only one that'll be holding the stream down.
So he was trying to invite me, and then basically found out because I asked him, where is it? And when is it? And he realized he couldn't come. So it went from Brady trying to be nice to Brady telling me, I won't be helping you with stream tomorrow.
Good luck. Tom Segura, ? Doe?
Yeah. Hey, Station Stream, are you taking the SAT or ACT?
Oh, thanks for the follow, Station Stream. We really appreciate it.
Take it back.
Last minute follower. All right, we got to go. You know why? We are nerdish.